Hey guys, so here's me doing a quick follow-up video on my last video, which was about how I ended my relationship. You know what? I could not believe how many of you absolutely loved that video and found it so useful. So I thought I should really be doing more videos about personal, real life scenarios. By the way, yeah, that's the ring finger. This is not the ring finger. I'm loving life being single, and I wanted to share that with you because I'm in an incredible transitionary period, and I've never, ever felt this happy, secure, fulfilled. And I think a lot of it's got to do with age, because the older you are, so this is good news for anyone watching, because we are so insecure as 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, now being in my early 40s, 42. And it's so amazing how easy life gets as you get older, because a lot of people, and this is another thing I want to discuss in the video, a lot of people, especially when they're scared of being single older, or like if you're not in your 20s and 30s, they're worried about, oh, I might be left alone for the rest of my life. It's the most ridiculous thing I've heard in my whole entire, like, that's literally the premise of every single person on a dating site. They're like, I'm worried I might end up alone. Look, there is a need for companionship for human beings. It is nice to be with someone, but it doesn't mean you're with the wrong person. So I want to talk about this because this is real life for me. I'm loving life right now, and I want to discuss how you, especially if you're a high achieving female, you are more of an anomaly, let's be honest, compared to a high achieving male. There's plenty of those. There are more things you need to think about, and you will therefore have more like fussy choices compared to the average human being. There's a lot of average in this world, and that's the problem when you're a high achiever, whether you're male or female. I particularly think when you're a high achieving female, things are a little bit more, you have to be a little bit more careful with your choices. And this is why I'm in doing this YouTube video, because I genuinely think I can help a lot of you guys figure it out. So where I'm at, and I love being single. I never thought I would. If you went back to my 20s and 30s, anytime I was single, I was only single for a very short period in my 30s. Well, 30 till 33 was when I was single, 30 to 32 and a half. And yeah, in the 30s, I was single for in my late 20s too. But my point being, I was very insecure in my 20s, a little insecure in my 30s, and not insecure at all in my 40s. And I thought it'd be the other way around. I thought the older you get, and if you become single, you will be super insecure because you're like, oh my God, I might die alone. And the thing is, first and foremost, you won't. And who cares? Because we come alone. Since when, unless you're a Siamese twin, have you ever come co-joined or conjoined with someone? You're not going to die with someone. Even if you are in a relationship, you die alone, right? So I don't know why these people are obsessed with, I might die on my own, I don't want to be alone. Look, you're not living in a cave, so you don't need to worry about being alone. So once you get over that insecurity, so these are the insecurities that women, especially what I used to go through, in your 20s, you're thinking, oh my God, I should be in a relationship with a good guy and should get married and have lots of kids. That was my thing. And I knew quite quickly that that was never going to happen, because I hated the concept of marriage. I didn't see any good marriages around me to kind of believe it works. Correct. And then in my 30s, but when you hit around 30, the insecurity women have here is, oh my God, am I going to have a child? I want a child. And oh my God, what if should I just force myself to go into a relationship to have a child? And I think that's like a huge, huge insecurity, very unattractive insecurity that I see in women, is when they're obsessed with becoming a mother, and they get into a relationship for all the wrong reasons, and then they're left alone with a child, perhaps, and with a parent that they didn't like, co-parenting, or worse, like completely no co-parenting, and just this vile end of a relationship. So my 20s, late 20s and 30s, I had a real serious conversation with myself. I may have mentioned this in the last video about, am I okay with not having kids? Am I still a good person? Do I still like my life if I had no kids? And the answer was hell yes. Like, I really looked deep into the philosophy of, what does it mean to be a mother? And for me, that was having that maternal instinct. Sometimes having a child of your own just because you want it to be called something of your own so you can leave a legacy and all of that is such a high egocentric issue. Like some people have, I think most parents have kids for the wrong reasons, to have their own name attached to their family. Like that's just like more obsession with I'm so great and therefore I need to carry on my legacy, or I have no meaning in my life, I can only have meaning in my life when I'm a parent, or I don't want to be alone, I want my kids to look after me. Hello, not all kids give a shit about their old parents, right? Trust me, I've seen plenty of that in my family. So my point is that don't have kids for all of those reasons, you know, something for your own legacy, all of that. It's like such an ego. Have it because you want to create unconditional love for something that may turn around and say they don't like you, because that's what a kid can do, that you don't own them. You literally are there as a caregiver, a home provider, till they are a certain age, and then they can do the hell they want. You know, they may turn around and say you are a shit parent, I don't need you in my life, goodbye. And you as a parent have to still love them unconditionally. If you are not able to do that, then don't have kids. And the lack of sleep that comes with it, you know, that's a whole different combo. But I think genuinely people don't think about being parents. So I fast forwarded. I'm the kind of person that thinks about every eventuality in my life. And I thought, do I really want kids? And is it like the be all and end all of life? I love children, but I don't want my own. So in my in my 20s, I wanted them, but I was so clever. I knew that I am not with a person that will ever be a good dad, let alone I know we're going to end up breaking up, and I don't want to be with this person. I certainly don't want to be attached to them for the rest of my life or have their DNA associated with me or my child ever. So I was grateful I never had kids. I fully believe in, you know, terminations if needed. If you're in the wrong partnership and the wrong relationship, do not have kids where they're not the right father, because you're doing more damage for very selfish reasons to children who haven't got good parents. I really do believe that. And I think a mother genuinely has more control of that decision, and they should do. So I'm all about this pro-abortion thing, you know, do it for the right reasons, but don't mess about, you know. Kids are not something you play with. You shouldn't be terminating if you are not, if you were careless in the first place. You shouldn't be. You should really think these things out. But I think if you want evidence of how many damaged people they are, just walk into a council estate, you know, like walk around, see what low level England and the rest of the world provides in terms of kids. The worst human beings created are from broken parents, from broken families, from mothers who did it for the wrong reasons. So I'm really against that. And insecure mothers make the worst mothers. Let's be honest, most of our mothers are very insecure. So it takes a very stable female and male to create a good child. So I really had a thought of that. And I was very insecure in my 20s. So how would I have been a good parent? No, I would have been like, I don't want to be a parent, I'll be honest. So even though I wanted them, I was wanting them for the wrong reasons. So that insecurity, if you're ever single in your 20s and you're struggling to figure out what to do with your life, don't just get into a relationship for kids. It's the worst thing you could do. Fix your insecurities, figure out where are they coming from, who's giving you the voices in your head to be like this insecure, you know. And in your 30s you may still have the same insecurities, like, oh, I'm going to be a bit of an older mum. Do I want to be an older mum? In my early 30s I need to settle down and get into a relationship and get married and everything else. And again, be careful with the kid thing, but let's put that one aside. Everything else in your early 30s, I think at this point, if you play your cards right, you will be working on your craft, whatever it is, whether you're a job or a business. Now, if you're not building major income in your 30s, there's something wrong, really wrong, because I want you to, 20s are experimental. I made a lot of money in my 20s, but I was so unstable mentally because I was like figuring out life and figuring out, what do I want from life? Do I like money? Do I like what I'm doing? And that was my big one, you know, relationship with money. That relationship was fixed in my 20s. Then once I got that fixed, my money game just went up. And I always find, and this is why I always push for extra financial literacy, because the most secure human beings are the ones with a lot of money. If you have money and you're good at keeping it, not just making it, but learning what to do with it, you are in a powerful position to make decisions for the right reason in your personal life or otherwise. You know, so I really believe that when you are making more money because you're very in tune with your life and you love what you're doing, etc., it's almost like you need to create your own life before you become someone's wife. Like, I love the concept of getting married. You know, my concept of getting married is never sign the contract, of course, but do the whole ceremonial thing because, you know, it looks pretty, you get the pictures and everyone feels, and nobody needs to know. Like, people came to my wedding and thought I actually was legally married, but I never got legally married, as you guys know from my last video. I did the whole ceremony, and yeah, we put rings on, but that legally wasn't, like, I don't need the government's getting involved, right? So when we parted ways, it was very simple. It's like, goodbye, you know. It was not, I owe you this, you owe me this, none of that rubbish. It was like nothing changed, you know, like my money untouched, your money zero anyway, because you didn't have any, but that's a different conversation. So anyway, my point is that please, in your 30s, make sure your financial literacy is really strong. And that's what happened to me. And so my insecurity levels were purely, I want to get married in my 30s, because in my 20s, it was whatever. In my 30s, early 30s, it was, I want to get married. I want to be in a stable relationship. I want to be in the rest of my life relationship. And I think I rushed it. I think I did get into this relationship for the wrong reasons, for many, you know, just to be in a relationship. I was so obsessed with, I need to be in a relationship and I want to be in a proper one and I want to be in like a long-term one. I made a, what would have been on paper a weird, not really a solid foundation relationship. I dragged it out to 8.5 years because I was obsessed with, I just want to be in a relationship. And that is an insecurity in itself, right? So now, having had the final tipping point that happened, discussed in my last video, I am so grateful because you've got that detachment now. So me looking back at it, I'm like, what the hell did I do? I mean, I'm so grateful for that whole experience. Don't regret it. I regret not ending it at least 2 years earlier. And I say a mini regret. When people say, oh, I don't have regrets, no, that's bullshit. There is a mini regret there. I kind of think, oh, I wasted 2 years just waiting for I don't know what, because I had definitely stopped working on it. And this person was clearly just flatlining in many ways. So I know I kept that relationship going. I know this is going to sound really dumb. I did it for Coco. I know this sounds really dumb. You know, like when people say they stay together for kids. I get it. I did it. I did it for my baby. My baby being Coco. I need someone to carry him everywhere, drive me around, look after him when I'm in meetings. And, you know, that was the only reason I stayed that long. And so that was the insecurity I had. So why am I telling you this? I'm very self-aware now that I stepped away, that the things that kept me in a unserving relationship were insecurities of, number one, needing to be in a relationship because I otherwise didn't know how to identify myself. So now identifying as a completely single, independent female in my 40s is like so liberating. I never thought this could even happen. I always thought being in a relationship was the only way to feel like fully myself. And that's so wrong. It's so wrong on so many levels. And I just feel that everything in life, cliche, happens for a reason. And that is true because now, you know, when I'm progressing and I want to hit certain targets in my life, you've got to become a certain person to hit those targets. And I just know for a fact that I could never become that person in that relationship because there was too many dead weights holding me back. So what I'm telling you is please be self-aware. Don't be afraid of your insecurities and kind of look at them head on. So my insecurities were at that time in that relationship were stick it out for as long as possible because you know what, we're in it, let's just drag it out and just come. And the other thing was doing it for the kids, in my case Coco. Worst reason, because what happens is you become a very unhappy, unfulfilled, kind of dead inside person, and your productivity in your business will drop. Everything will just not be as exciting. You know, nothing was exciting to me anymore. Everything was a frustration. How do I know that? Because every day I wake up now, I feel this sense of relief, like, oh my God, I'm not feeling that annoyance. And, you know, like looking at that person and being like, do something with your life. Or like, you know, it was just really frustrating. That constant tension in the air is no longer there. Like, I feel so liberated, free, energy is good. Like, I can do whatever I want, which was always the case, but I don't have to feel like I need to nurture a dead heavyweight individual in my relationship, or like there is no, is a lot more serving than, you know, a relationship with someone that isn't the right person is very dragging on your whole mind, your whole body, your soul, etc. So let alone when you're single, it is liberating after a while of you finding out how to figure out your identity, you know? So a lot of people get scared of that re-identification as a single person, which I get does happen for a little while because your neuroscience is still programmed to be a wife or a partner to someone. But I'm telling you, it is so worth it. And how do you get through that period? Well, by being self-aware. That's why I'm having this conversation. Be self-aware of what was it that was holding you in. What are you scared of? You know, that's what your insecurities are. What are you scared of? Being alone all your life? Really, think about it. When you die, have you watched anyone die automatically with someone else, co-joined with them mentally, spiritually, everything? No, they die on their own. I think it's just, it's kind of like a fallacy we think in our heads. It's completely an illusion for us to think that we're not alone. You are fully alone. You are every single day, you're on your own. But what keeps us feeling together is connection with human beings, which you don't need to be in a relationship with. You will, if you are, pick the right one, but don't just rush into one, the wrong person. It's very easy to get into a relationship, very hard to get out. Same as when you well, it's not quite the same when you're hiring staff, because I do it the other way around. I take a long time to hire someone and I fire them very quickly if I see there's a few things gone wrong. You can't do that when it's an emotional relationship with a partner. So in a partnership or a relationship, personal relationship, you tend to get into things really quick, give yourself the fairy tale story. Oh, this is going to be the best thing ever. I would suggest you do it slower, you know, like just take your time really understanding what am I, first of all, you know, because by not, if you don't understand your insecurities, you'll never figure out who you are. So right now in my life, I've looked at everything I saw in that past relationship and thought, what were the insecurities I had? And I'm fixing those. Like they're completely so easy to fix. Like I no longer feel like I'm going to be ever scared of being alone. I'm literally not bothered. I absolutely love my space, which is a good sign. And I believe that there's another philosophy I love, which I think I want to share with you, and I think everyone should remember this when they're feeling down, which is it's an illusion to think something has disappeared. So when everything was already there. So it's our, I think it was such a beautiful phrase. I told it to my friend once and I've forgotten how I put it in words, but it's the illusion is that you're missing something when really everything was already there, but you fail to recognize it. That's the beauty of what I'm seeing in life. We shut off with our blinkers so many things when we're in a relationship, or we put so much on one person, and we've got to keep building ourselves throughout this, right? And the good thing about me was I always built me and myself and my business, and that's probably why I found it easier to move on, because I have my identity as a business person, as whatever I am, you know, I love it. And I have my own money, really important. No one could take, no power was taken away from me. You know, when you break up in a relationship, and I've seen horrible examples of females getting divorced with kids, and their ex-husband was the one who had all the money and like blah, blah, blah. That's difficult because so much power was taken away. Money equals power. So if you don't have your own money, you're going to feel very powerless in a breakup. I had all the money, I had all the power in my own self, right? And I never relied on any other human being for money or anything in my life. And therefore, no power was taken away from me, none whatsoever. And this is crucial. So anyone who says that money is not important, literally, you have a whole lot of learning to do in your life, because it is the most important thing to keep your power. You know, you can buy happiness. Money buys happiness, because you can then make choices. If I wasn't in this position of power, I wouldn't have felt so happy so quickly. Obviously, you get the sadness that comes with initial breakups, but it would have lasted a lot longer if I was with no money. Trust me, you know, you just feel that pain a lot more. Now, the next thing, I guess I covered a lot of things. I've got no structure in this, by the way. This video is just me freestyling, just telling you whatever comes out of my mind. But it's a genuine, real depiction of what I'm going through. And I feel like this is, I mean, I am amazed in myself by thinking, oh my God, I didn't think. Like, I can remember how I felt 10 years ago. and how insecure I was 10 years ago. And I just wanted to make sure people understand as you get older, things get better. For example, I am not rushing off dating people. Like, oh, I can't think of anything worse, wasting time talking to someone who I know is going to be really boring. People are quite, that's the other bit I want to get to, right? So, how do you approach the dating world? Look, dating apps exist. Great. Nothing wrong in them. I absolutely think they can be used in the right way. And they're very interesting because it shows you what's available. And I honestly am so cutthroat because I'm bored very quickly. So if someone bores me just on a chat, WhatsApp or whatever, I'm like, this is really not even worth continuing. And I can tell very quickly, like when you're a high forming individual, what matters is you need to know who you are first, right? So identify yourself, know what you're looking for. I know, for example, I could not be with someone who is in a job, right? So you cannot ever, if you're someone like me, you need that free spirited, big worldly thinking, big mindset that's got no limitations to the end. It's encouraging. Someone who's going to be a cheerleader as well as you be their cheerleader, and I'm very conscious of that. I need a big thinker, someone who's fearless, someone who's really like embraces life and has spirituality. I mean, everything that I am, I want to make sure that they can complement that and they can help add value to me and I can help add value to them. I've done too much adding value. Let's not make that. Look, one thing that's the biggest turn off is finding someone else who is whatever I discussed in my last video, like if you've got none of your own money or not as much as me, we're going to find that unattraction coming in straight away. Look, I don't need anyone to pay for me, let's be honest, but I know what I'm attracted to, and that's really important. I need a real definition of a man rather than a boy, and definitely not someone that needs looking after. Like, oh, how unattractive is that? So I need someone who's got their shit together. And it's so nice knowing that. It's only when you're not insecure, because I've got a friend, bless her, she's much younger than me, 11 years. No, 13 years. 13 years younger than me. She's so amazing, so strong, much more secure, like maturer than her age. She has been broken up with, and she's got a child, and she was married with the divorce pending. And it's a horrible situation. And she did everything to the book, traditional, whatever. And I've been encouraging her not to be insecure because it's so easy to be insecure, and just she's been on many dates and and I love her to bits, and she's so much more impressive than any other 29-year-old ever made on human earth, in my opinion. But my value add to her as a friend is do not be insecure. Do not like go on dates just because you want to fill the void of being lonely, like deal with that stuff. Like you're not lonely. You are never lonely. It's in your mind, you need to understand that philosophy of everyone dies alone, born alone, die alone, right? So once you get past those insecurities, because people have that pressure at different ages in their life. I've dealt with so many of my insecurities. I know when I see someone worth spending my time and energy with, I will do it. But most people haven't got that excitement about them, and I find them boring. So don't be afraid of being honest with yourself. Don't be a people pleaser. Like, I literally am not a people pleaser. I'm very nice to people. People are very nice to me. The world is an incredible place. I love everyone. They are so kind, and they are all very much wanting to get to know me and go on a date. But I'm just thinking, genuinely, is this going to go anywhere? Is there any substance behind this person that is actually, there are so many things you can get out of a person's conversation that you see are limitations. The way they talk about life, money. I mean, you don't ask them, what do you think about money? Like this whole dating thing is probably I could make a whole 8-hour training on this because I'm very good at it. But my point is, I'm very good at not going on a date because I can see that they're not even interacting in a exciting way. As in they're very average. I'm looking at above average, so maybe I'm looking in the wrong places. But I have found a few that are interesting, and to find someone that's attractive and interesting, big challenge. So you've got to give yourself some major tap on the back, clap your hands for how successful you are, women, or men, if you are good looking, look after your health, and you look after your mind, and you've got money. Like, you are so rare. Usually the ones with money are like those ugly, kind of very not good looking people, let's be honest. But hey, if you need any confirmation of that, go to Monaco, see what kind of old men are sitting around with money. And so we don't want them. We don't want them. So you don't chase the money. You chase the full version of it. And so that's where the best part of dating is that I'm so happy just sitting back and thinking, is this going anywhere? Do you think you've got any longevity in this conversation? Is it going to go past one date? And the answer is no. Honestly, I just don't go on that date because I can tell what kind of limitations there are. And I have phone calls with people. Like, that's how I judge it, right? I'll have a phone call with them, speak to them, and see how they talk to you. Some of them really are interested in you. Some will just talk and talk about themselves. Like, that's the difference, right? There are some people that just want to take, others want to add value and listen. Do you feel heard? Do they feel intimidated? Because that will happen. And I'm in that phase right now. So I can probably do a follow-up video on that, on how to pick the right partner. But it won't be in a hurry because I'm not looking. And I certainly am loving, absolutely loving my freedom right now. Anyway, I'm going to start coughing now because I've spoken too much and I should stop talking. And I'm sure like this video is way too long. But anyhow, life is good. Being single in your 40s is the best thing I've ever done in my life. I am so surprised how good it is. I'm so secure, the most secure. So the best thing about getting older is, number one, you're more secure. You're the richest you've ever been. And you're the most, yeah, most secure, most richest. And now all you got to do is recreate and redesign life to your liking and be very conscious of making sure you put only the right people into your life. Don't waste your time and energy on people that are really not going to go anywhere. Like, be strong enough to say no. The things you say no to are more important than all the things you say yes to. And I'm loving that. Be selective, have really high standards, and don't settle because life is too short. So go out, create. And I honestly think the biggest thing you should be putting your focus and energy on is your craft, whether it's your job, your career, your business, and obviously in yourself. And then you'll see how beautiful life unfolds. I think when people want to see instant gratification of self-development, like, trust me, I've been obsessed with self-development since the age of 21. It has paid off so much. Like, I've never had a year where I've been less successful than the previous year. Every year has been more successful, and that's only come down to self-development, constantly understanding myself, my insecurities. Get therapy where you need it. I'll be honest, I haven't found a therapy that was therapist I used a couple of times, absolutely useless. Just like, I just paid to have a combo. Like, I thought, I'm not going to ring my friends and like talk about this. I'm going to pay you and you listen to me. And that was all it was. It was so pointless. There were some really bad therapists, but I'm not using one now because I just don't think I'm probably going to find a peak performance coach. And I usually use a sports coach, like Kobe Bryant's last coach. He's not available, so I'm gonna have to find another one, a really high performer. I'm gonna use a high performing peak performance coach. That's the only type I like working with. Someone who will just elevate your game, not tell you, oh, it's okay, just take a break. I feel like I'm on a sabbatical right now. I've got so much time on my hands. I love it. I absolutely love life. But literally, nothing goes backwards in life. Nothing goes backward. When you work on yourself, nothing goes backward. I think it's the best investment you'll ever make. Whatever I've paid for in training and people and therapy and coaches, best money I've ever spent. And the rest I keep reading and I keep learning and I keep absorbing the right information. And then execution is key. So be that person that you want to be. Don't compromise, don't settle. Hopefully this video was useful to you guys in some way, because I have no idea what it's about other than just a recent update and being super, super surprised how fun it is to be single, free, mentally in your 40s. Like, it's the best thing ever. I cannot quite believe it. I honestly didn't think it would be this good. I didn't think anything could be good when you're out of a relationship, right? Because I'm so in tune with it. But it is completely okay. And I am confident I will be in a relationship again. But the beauty is, I'm not desperate for one. I'm going to pick something that I really like, and it's not going to be in a hurry. Like, honestly, I just know I will intuitively recognize it when I see it or when I completely am around it. It will be an intuitive process. And that's so much better than just ticking off, oh yeah, they earn money, they look good. Like, that's not enough. It's got to be a whole holistic experience. Um, and it's very exciting, very exciting. So if anyone had any fears in their mind about being single and would it make you feel sad forever, the answer is hell no. Like, you would be fine. Give yourself maximum 4 weeks. You'll be absolutely on fire on the basis that you've got your own money, your own career, business that you can work on. You're independent and no one else is paid for your life. If you're being paid for right now, my biggest advice to you is get independent, get your own money. No female or male should be without their own money. Money equals power. Whatever people can give to you and they can take away from you, that's power. So do not give your power away. Someone treating you, that's something different. But someone giving you a lifestyle, dangerous. And I've been very grateful. I've never put myself in that position. No one could take my power away. And I hope you guys always take that on board. Women especially. Don't look for a rich guy. Be that rich woman yourself. So, but don't pick a poor guy. Because I've been there, done that. I can give you all that information. I'm never to do that. So don't pick a poor guy. Pick a rich guy or someone equal. But do not ever allow somebody to put you in your position in life. Put yourself in that position. Never ever give someone else that power. And when you buy things, assets, if you ever do anything crazy like that, make sure that shit is done well. Like, do not give your power away to anyone. I cannot emphasize that enough. I would not be in such a secure position in my life if I had ever given my power to someone else. Okay, so fingers crossed for all of you, men, women. Really hope you guys are good. And I'm just putting this stuff out because I know so many people love the last one and you want to just see real, authentic stuff. This will not go on social media because how the hell do I make a post out of this? But yeah, I'll give you an update when needed. Thank you guys. See you soon. Bye.